Hello and welcome to episode 3. Yes, we've made it to 3 episodes. I know, I'm shocked. So, what are we doing this week? Well, this week we are walking, or I am, you're not, you're following me on the journey, hopefully. I'm walking to Finsbury Park station down via the River Lee navigation, going south this time as opposed to north that we did last week. And going past the King George reservoirs, the Banbury reservoirs, down to the Olympic Park, and along the Hertford Canal and the Regent's Canal, and then up to King's Cross. And then hopefully, if I'm not too tired, and I can actually do it, and I've got enough time and it's not pitch black, I'll walk up to Finsbury Park and then get the train back home, because then it's just one train and it's nice and easy. So, well, that's the plan. So I'd forgotten actually, any canal really is kind of, you expect to find a bike and a shopping trolley and all of that, but they are actually quite attractive spaces. And even though it smells like a pig's backside, this one, the southern part heading south on the River Lee navigation canal, it is actually really rather beautiful, with all the autumn browns and yellows and dying red. It is quite a beautiful sight. And more or less, again, as like last week, have the majority of it all to myself. So I've passed a fisherman and a couple of cyclists, which, if you watch the video, because I'd never actually planned to make videos, but there are videos. There was one of last week, which was kind of to accompany the podcast, and there's obviously there's one this week as well. I don't know what next week is going to be like. I can't promise that I'll be doing that every week, because it's a lot of effort and it's easier to do. It's hard enough trying to do the walk, let alone add video editing into it as well. Oh yeah, you're right. Passing some lovely cyclists enjoying their afternoon, and so that's the plan, to have on some of them an accompanying video, so you actually get some sights as well. So if you are, I don't know how you're listening to this, but if you are listening to thelastbroadcast.org or markriley.org, then thank you very much. If you are here via iTunes or Google Play or any of the other podcasting apps that you may use, welcome. If this is your first podcast, don't worry about listening to the other ones, just carry on listening to this one. Please make sure you subscribe and stay up to date. The aim is to do a podcast or a hike every week as time and family commitments will allow. I'm not always going to be able to do that, but it's certainly something to keep me going through the winter months, as winter draws towards us in about a month's time, roughly 5 weeks time. I think winter properly starts. I know it feels like it's winter now, but it's not. It's really just the kind of the transition into autumn, and so anyway, so this is basically, it's just taken me an hour and 10 minutes to get from my house, which is North Enfield, to quite far East Enfield. So I'm right on the border with Chingford at the moment, although obviously I'm on the Enfield side. And I've only made it to Ponders End, which bizarrely is where I work. And I still haven't. I'm kind of heading towards Edmonton now. When I made the second section of the video right in Ponders End. I think now I've started this section of the podcast right between Ponders End and Edmonton, which it has a place. This boundary. It's called the Boundary, bizarre, which is an imaginative name in itself. Okay, so finally made it out of Enfield and made it into Haringey, and the most northern section of the Tottenham Marshes. So, and I think it's the Banbury Reservoir. I'm never quite sure if I get the name right. And it's a thought has sort of struck me that how snobby we are in Enfield, actually, because once you get outside of Enfield heading north into Hertfordshire and go past the M25, suddenly you see an awful lot of narrow boats moored up, and not a huge amount really in Enfield. I mean, there are some, but it's not like a particularly regular thing. It's not like a regular sight. And then the moment they got out of Enfield and into Tottenham on the reservoir, there seemed to be an awful lot of boats as well moored up. So I don't know if we have particularly strict laws or regulations that say that you can't do that, or just basically people who live on a boat aren't particularly welcome, which I think is somewhat mean-spirited, but then would not surprise me of Enfield, really, because it is, you know, the kind of mean-spiritedness of Enfield is part of its makeup. And as an Enfield resident of 47 years, I have to say I speak on it with some authority. So, both as somebody on the receiving end of that, and also somebody that is actually, you know, part of that and probably upholds that. I don't know if that's kind of like the attitude that we have, being, you know, an ex-home county and now being sort of incorporated and sucked into the whole Greater London thing. See, I think it's better off as part of Greater London than Middlesex. But then, having said that, I was born after the incorporation, so I have no recollection of being in Middlesex. Okay, so I've made it to the Olympic Park. We're it's about 18 kilometres, I think I've done, so just a little over 10 miles, maybe close to 11, and you can see the claret and blue all around the Olympic Stadium, where West Ham have taken it over. Still maintaining a good pace. A little way to go now, so heading east now. I think, I'm not entirely sure what this one's called. Actually, I think it is actually the Regent's Canal, although the map did say the Hertford Canal, but I always thought the Lee Valley Navigation was the Hertford Canal, but I'm not an expert, so I could well be wrong, and I don't mind being wrong. And it's still quite busy, even though dusk. Mind you, it's only late afternoon, so it's not even late at all. And here's a guy chopping up some wood, which you might hear the sound of. Yep, there you go. And for a bit of authenticity there for you. So I'm going to try and get a nice background noise of King's Cross somehow. Well, I've since discovered the name of the canal, which is the Hertford Union Canal, which would probably make more sense, actually. And the park I'm in is Victoria Park. And I've just found a bunch of guys who are more lost than me, which was quite funny, and they started asking me for directions, which was even funnier. So I'm going to attempt to get back onto the Hertford Union. And there are lots of Santander bikes actually coming towards me, so I must be able to go this way. So that's good news. Actually, I'm going to do something really cheeky. I'm going to get a picture of somebody's house here. It looks absolutely beautiful with all the lights. I'm going to get a picture of it, and I shouldn't really. I don't think my photograph is going to do it justice, but it was worth a try. Actually, I'm going to get a nice video shot actually of all the lights along the canal, because it looks really pretty. Yep. I'm going to have to cut out that huge silence there. But yes, so back on the Hertford Union Canal, and so hopefully, in theory, this should take me all the way to King's Cross. Or at least it should put me on the direction of the Hertford Regional. No, the Regent's Canal. There we go, I got there in the end. It's just words that I'm struggling with today. And then I will be at King's Cross. So I've been on the Regent's Canal a little while now, just from where we crossed off from the Hertford Union, and I don't know why I was expecting it to not be busy, but it is busy, obviously. I realise we're in the centre of London. We're not quite in the city, I don't think, yet. We're still sort of on the outskirts of Hackney, and as Hertfordshire, and walking through various parts of Hertfordshire like St Margaret's and where Hertford, Rye House, as slightly industrial but very green, and lots of green, whereas this is anything but. This is very industrial, very populated, lots of boats, lots of people on boats, very beautifully decorated, I might add, with lots of pretty lights, and lots of people on bikes, with people with dogs, couples walking hand in hand. It's a lovely scene, and lots of people using the Santander bikes as well, so it's nice to see that they're used. I don't know, I haven't checked my mileage or kilometerage recently, so I couldn't tell you how far I've done. Just getting a notification to tell me how much I've done. We're going to have a quick look. Okay, we're at 23 kilometres at the moment, and still going strong, still at quite a fast pace, still at more or less the same pace that I was at for kilometre 1 actually, and I ain't feeling it because I'm in quite a bit of pain right now. So, but I didn't do this to not do it and to not be in pain, because having sore legs over a long distance is part of it. That's why we do it. That's why I do it, rather. So, and also for the podcasting. So there you go.